watercolor artists, it's a fabulous day to paint, and an even more fabulous day to paint daffodils, the March birth flower. I've been doing a couple of different versions of these. I should let you take a poll and vote, but since we're not live, we can't really do it. This one I feel like is a little too stylistic, almost like a rigatoni stuck out in the center. This one I like more with the open horn, and this one I kind of like too. It wasn't finished quite yet. I finished the first video and realized the sound wasn't on and my camera went out of charge. So we're gonna start this one again. This is Daffodil 2.0. I'm really excited. My birthday's in March, my daughter's, my uncle, my grandma. So we have, and then a couple friends, so we have a lot. It does symbolize renewal, hope. Gosh, we need that today, guys. Okay. You saw the traceable at the beginning. This is definitely doable. Let's look at it. It's a U. We're facing it down, kind of coming in diagonally. And then a ruffled edge in an oval. That's it. And then we want to, we'll mess with that in a little bit. Then we're gonna have 5 petals. There are 6, but we have 1 hidden just to make it stand out more. I'm not gonna have it poke out. There. I have a couple of cut off. That's fine. I like that in a composition. I have a 3x3. You guys may be working larger. I have a 3x3 because I'm into a mini phase. And then this is kind of the direction this time will go. We're just going to hint at that. I'm going to do a background in a blue. I highly recommend a blue or a yellow. Let me show you guys what I have mixed up. I have my lemon yellow and Hansa yellow, just a nice yellow, like a baby chick. And then I have like an egg yolk. Yikes. So there's the bird analogy. Can you hear the birds outside? Maybe not, but they are. They're chirping away. We have a bird camera and it attracts a bunch of birds. So fun to see. Okay, then I have a yellow ochre here. And then here I have a burnt sienna. So basically we have the light yellow, more orangey yellow, heading towards brown, and then a reddish brown. Then I'm going to use a turquoise, so I mixed up my own turquoise, and then I have ultramarine blue. Actually, that's French ultramarine, doesn't matter, they're both very similar. And I have a sap green. That's just the tiniest we're gonna need there. You guys get ready. Are you excited? I have a Q-tip too to use, but you can use also your brush for lifting a little of the color. Okay, before we start, let's erase the bulk of our lines, and you can roll it over to just pull some of the graphite out, or you can drag it across. I kind of like this method because it doesn't rip up your paper as much and create, rough edges where your paint can settle in. If you are, like me, a little bit of a perfectionist and trying to get things perfect before you start, it might be better to sketch it out on a different piece of paper and then draw on the back with some graphite and pencil, and then place it over and transfer your drawing. I'll do a video on some other methods of transferring. I do that sometimes. This one I straight drew on here because it was a little simpler design. But if it's something detailed, I don't want to be erasing and ripping up the paper before I start. Okay, for this one, we do want to get rid of some of these petal edges because they're going to be really light for us and they'll show through. Okay, are you ready? I have an 8 because I want to be able to cover a lot of ground with this. And this will do that for me. And we want to be loose. I'm trying so hard to paint loose. In all of my art, acrylic, whatever I've done, I want it to be realistic. And that's what I love about watercolor. It allows you a little more loose. Okay, I'm putting this all here, being a little bit careful just to get around the design that I have, but mostly we're just moving the paint around, and I have a lot of water. Do you guys see that? It's literally pooling up. And we want that because we want some of this to spread into the petals. We're doing this fun wet on wet. See, some went over. That's totally fine because we're gonna want that in a minute. Okay, see what we've got there? We have our orangey yellow for the center. Now, get your brush completely clean of that and fully wet. So wet. Then, tiny corner of this brush. Look at how light that is on here. It's like dropping the smallest bit of pigment that I have here. And then I'm gonna go and fill in gently, a couple of couple of strokes with my brush here, and then I'm gonna tap a little down here and it's gonna spread up for us a little bit. So I attached my water to it just a little. See what that's doing for us? And then we can make it move up a little. Okay, I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm outlining my petal gently. We don't need too many strokes. I'm doing too many here. And then just in one place maybe, just touch that cone. I tabbed it in exactly one spot right there. Okay, same thing, really loose. I just went to get more water because I want this to be really wet on wet. And then I'm doing around this here. Now I am going to touch it. I'm gonna choose over this corner. See, I just touched it with my really wet brush, and it's just gonna start pulling a little bit of that up for us. Tiny, and this one's not really doing too much, it's okay. I'm gonna wet it a little more to make sure that some of that happens. Okay, now I'm gonna go get some more yellow. Go this way. I said some more yellow, but it's really the palest little tiniest. Can you hear the birds? Beautiful. It's the tiniest little bit, and I touched it here, and a little bit of that's coming in. Same thing, last but not least, we have this guy, and we're going around. We're gonna get it. A couple of strokes in there, and then I'm going to gently tap it in one spot, maybe right there. And then let some of that bleed. Look, it's happening over here a lot. I may manipulate that up a little. You guys don't do too much. This is what I also have to let go of, is going back in and messing with it after you've done something. You really want to just let the water do its thing. I have to let go of control. That's good in today's Armageddon society that we're in. We got to let go of control because we can't control any of it. We really can't. I feel a little bit helpless right now. Okay, so we'll paint daffodils and we'll paint ourselves some sunshine and peace. Okay, look at this, guys. I have dragged my brush into I've dabbed it off on my towel, paper towel, and I'm gonna bring it across here. Look, just to get a highlight on that side. Do you see that? I'm lifting. Then I'm doing it again, and I'm just gonna grab a little white off of here, just for fun. I just want to have a little interest in some of the petals, maybe towards the edge. No like specific, I have no plan. I'm just putting a couple of white spots in there, see? And then we're gonna do that exact same thing and go into your ultramarine or your regular blue. This is going to serve as a shadow. So let's just drop a little bit here. I had a bunch of water. I don't want to mess with the yellow that's there, but I'm just kind of dropping it and then I'm gonna get out of there. See? It's shadowing that leaf a little bit. See, you have to understand how little water I just used. Paint. How much water. It's so watery. See? And I'm dropping it here and a little bit here. And this is just gonna give us a nice little shadow. And it should kind of give us a little greenish look to it. We could have done darker yellow, but this makes a nice sort of cool shadow. Cool color-wise, not cool looking awesome. Okay, let's take a little bit of our yellow ochre and side of the brush, drag it across here and curve the bottom of the cone. You see that? And then I'm gonna do one more darker stroke under that one. So right about here. See, this is on the point of my brush, the point tip. So I'm adding that in. Okay, while we have that color, I want you guys to go inside this, but watch my pencil. I'm leaving a little margin. So I wanna leave that edge and I wanna go inside. Watch me first and then do it. See here, I'm leaving a border with my edge of my ruffle and the inside because that will be the lip. See what I mean? It's kind of splayed out at the edge. Okay, so leave the edge. See how my brown is inside the edge? This is the edge over here. See that? And then I'm gonna stop that like right around here. This part is the down into the flower, the trumpet of it. And then I'm gonna drop in, tap in just a little bit of brown there. It's gonna mix in there. And then we're gonna do some ochre as we go down. Okay, see all that? Strengthen this and then leave it. We need to leave it to dry. Okay, love how it's looking. Let's do the background. So for this one, use your brush, get it completely clean. I'm choosing a blue. I highly recommend a blue or a purple to contrast well across the color wheel with your yellows. So blue's across from orange and purple's across from yellow. So those colors make each other pop out. Okay, take a look what I'm doing. I want you guys, hopefully you haven't had as much iced coffee as I have today, and you're not jittery. If so, maybe decaf. But I want you to get in here but not touch any of our masterpiece petals that we've done, okay? So right in here, but leave the edge a little bit so that we don't want water to touch these, because then we'll just spread it all into this part. So, but the cool thing is where we're leaving the water is where our background, blue or purple if you're choosing, is going to stay. It won't get in here for us. Okay, wetting my brush again. And I'm going into my turquoise because it's my favorite color. I'd use phthalo blue and put a little bit of green into it. So I'm just gonna go all around. I'll leave a little white here and there. This is just a fun background. And it's gonna dry lighter than we have it now. Because when we're working with this paper, it's really like dyeing cloth. Because it's cotton, think about it. Hopefully you guys are using cotton watercolor paper. You might have a blend, but if you're using whichever one, it works more so on cotton, but it's like dyeing the fibers of the paper, which is really cool. It's almost like we're batik dyeing. And then so it's going to soak in. So you guys know if you've done backgrounds. Okay, I'm almost running out of my color, so I'm going to mix a tiny bit more. Oh, wrong color, wrong blue. Here we go, phthalo blue. Look how dark that is. Phthalo blue is a staining color. If you guys can't see it on my palette right now, but it is really, look at what it did to my paper towel. Really staining. You don't want to get this one on your clothes. Okay, have that. Now, here's what I'm gonna do to add even more, a little bit of interest. I'm gonna go into the corners, around, like inside the little corners. Let me show you what I mean. With a smaller brush, I'm going to go to a 6 for this, maybe a 4. Yeah, 4. I'm going down 2 so that I can get really in there without getting my flowers. Okay, I'm going to go in like this and just add in a little darker in there, and then just kind of use this side of my brush and spread it out. I didn't get any over here, guys. Look what I have to do. I forgot all this. I got so excited about talking to you guys that I forgot. So let me get in here first. And then you see, guys, what I'm trying to do? And just like blend it a little bit with the belly of my brush. It's like giving it a little silhouette, like a little bit of more emphasis, a little pop, because we're going to darken right around it. Okay, this is where we're gonna add our stem in, so we'll just put that in for now. I'm just dapping in this. Might want a few more places where to give this a little more texture now that I've got this here. Here we go. Let's see, just random spots you can put in. We're not gonna splatter paint this one at the end, so it might be fun to have some of this over here. Okay, now, going back, let's go in. I'm gonna go in between here and here, a couple of places, and then I'm just kind of using the side of my brush to spread that out a little bit, and then it's gonna spread out on its own as well. I'm gonna go in here, and then I just experimented and found this way and thought it was really cool. Go in here. I'm gonna go around the whole horn thing because this will really accentuate these little, oh look, I got it on the tip. Careful, guys, do as I say and not as I do. Okay, get around here. We still need to have some water on your brush so that it's moving around. We don't want it just stagnant sitting there. Okay, get that out there. Don't mess with it too much, just get it in and kind of dab some water so it spreads for you. And whatever variation, it's gonna look really nice. I'll go in here, spread some of that out. We're just really kind of outlining it instead of using like a black. We're using this color. Okay, we'll see how that dries for us, but I think it's gonna look pretty cool. Look, this, if we go like this, make these little lines, then it looks kind of like, gives a little movement, like a little motion kind of. Okay, let's see how that goes. I think it's gonna look really cool. Okay, leave that. Now, so much fun, guys. I am going to take back to my 8. I'm going back to my largest brush because I just want to glaze a little color over the top. I would like to glaze a little bit of yellow into some of my petals. So glazing is getting a really thin layer of our transparent paint. I had some blue on my brush. You have to really be careful to get all of it out. I don't want it green. See, I got green there, so I'm going to go back to my yellow. Okay, little glaze. I think I'm going to put some here. And I'm using the side of my brush, and just in some of the spots on some of the petals, I'm gonna put in some of this glaze. It's adding a little bit of more yellow for us. And then I'm also going to do that with I'm gonna get some more yellow, and I'm gonna mix it in to my deeper yellow, my Hansa yellow, the orange that I initially used for the cone. And I'm gonna glaze that in a couple of places. So we've got an extra bit of color. I'm just doing little flicks. And then I'll go into this one, which is my deepest. And I'm gonna do a couple of small little flicks of that. Just in the bottom, so it's connecting a little bit here to the cone. See? And maybe up into some of the flowers. You can do some on the side. And then I may make some lines there, just a few, just a couple of lines of it. I'll just make some interest. Doesn't really matter what you do with it. It's gonna dry and look really awesome. Making a couple lines. Okay, let's go to our cone and add a couple of things. We're gonna add a stripe of yellow ochre, or a little deeper yellow there, and we're curving it like a C kind of. Then I'm gonna go down here and add a little of my sienna. That was an Amazon delivery. I wonder if I just got some art supplies. Sometimes I feel like that's all I'm getting in the mail. Okay, let's do this and drag. I just added a little bit of the sienna there, and I'm dragging it down this way towards the center. So we're kind of going for it being darkest here and lightest here. So see how I have this lighter here? I'm going to tap it a little on the edge and bring some of that down. And then we are going to, I'm going to take some more of my yellowy orangey color and glaze that over here. I lost a little bit of that. I'm gonna glaze a little of that over here. Okay, now one more thing I'd like to do is lighten the horn area right here. So I'm gonna re-wet this area with the tip of my brush, and I'm dragging it over just the frilly part. Careful not to touch that or it'll come up for you. I'm dragging it through here, and I'm gonna lift it. Remember I was talking about the Q-tip? This is the time to pull that out. Or you see, you could also get like this 6 brush is dry, pretty dry. I can do that here too, and it's pulling that white for me just like we did up there. And look, it's pulling that for me pretty well. But my Q-tip will also do it. So I'll show you about that. See, if I tap that in here kind of hard, it is pulling that up for me as well. I just want that part to be a little lighter. It's gonna make it look like it's getting hit by the sun because it's kind of flapped up there. You see that? Okay, now this one, I think that's gonna be almost it, guys. Let's add, if you want, let's add a little bit of maybe your brownish, like yellow ochre, and a couple of stripes of that, just to give it a little something here, maybe here. We don't need too much. And then I'm gonna go one more yellowy and give a little bit of that, tiny bit. It's at the tops of a couple, like here, but leave some white. Leaving white some places. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that. What do you guys think? I may also, just if we can, it may be harder to lift at this point, but I'm gonna get a brush and wet the very edge here and do similar thing around. Let's see if we can do it. I'm wetting it here, and then I'm gonna try to pull some out, similar to what we did over here, just so that we have that tiny bit. This isn't necessarily as pulled open, but we try it. Okay, let's see. So I've wetted a lot. You can get a dry brush. I have one that's dry here and I can try it. It's okay. It's working okay for us, and you can use your paper towel as well. Let me grab that, but I'll show you with the Q-tip. It's gonna pull it up even better. I'm gonna try with the paper towel. Yeah, I did some, but it's neat to have some. Okay, so just dab around the outside edge there and see if you can pull some up. My Q-tip is doing that, some of that for me. Okay, there we go. Now, let's do our last loads of, guys, we're almost done, of lightning and glazing. I want a little bit more of the orangey yellow just on the cone and inside the cone, just because it's looking a little bit kind of plain there. So let's glaze over this. Your eyes may be glazed over at this point. Let's glaze this over. I'm gonna add a little over there, and I'm gonna put a little inside here. See? Isn't that so beautiful? It's helping us see that inside a little bit more. This darker yellow. Okay, I'm gonna pull this out of here. Look. Give that, see that? Also, if we do little dabs of the thing, that's gonna give it a frilly edge too. Okay, maybe a couple of swipes here. One or two, just one or two. And I don't want them to look like lines, so I'm gonna soften them up with a little water. See that? It doesn't have to be the same on every petal. I'm going to drag a couple of them down to the edge. Look, I think that looks good. Okay, guys, last but not least, are you ready? Are you so excited? Well, we have two. That's it, two more things. Kudos to y'all for sticking with it. Do you hear the birds? Amazing. I have a little jazz music on too. This half an hour of 40 minutes that we're spending here, did you think about Armageddon? Not once, did I? Okay, we're using your darkest. So I got my burnt sienna. I've got a number 4, sorry. I went to my smaller brush that I had with me, and I'm doing my last outline of this. See? So cute. And then my last outline of this. Okay, that's all we're doing. Now I'm wetting it a little, keeping that same color, and I am going to put a couple of stripes with my yellow ochre and my burnt sienna down here. Just a couple, just to make it look like it's got a little, because where, especially here, like where it folds in, it actually has a fold on the horn too. Okay guys, last but not least, we have a green stem, and I'm gonna put, you know how it has a little brown, like a husk where the thing develops from? So I'm gonna just shoot one out here and here. So straight here, I'm gonna put a little brown under it, and then I'm gonna go diagonally here just to give it the hint, see that it's there. And then let's get a little brown and make it on the edges of it to look like just under maybe. I'm gonna just make a line of brown under it or next to it. Same thing here, look, just next to it. And then that'll just give us a little brown there. You may like that, you may not, but hopefully it'll look like that little thing. I'm gonna dab in a little green here, two little dabs just to make it look like it has some interest and some difference. Okay guys, if you want, I always like to go in with a white paint marker at the end and just kind of add anything that has highlights or anywhere that I can. I think in this one, I might just put a couple little curvies here at the edge. See that? It just looks cool to me. I might take a couple lines and put them in here. You don't need them because it looks fine the way it is. But I like, because I'm not able to always save all the white space in my watercolor as hard as I try, I sometimes do it. You also can make a little line in between here, maybe in there. Maybe, what if we did a couple of lines coming into it? 1, 2, 3, or 4. I don't know if you like it or not. It's okay. You decide. And then maybe a couple curlies over here. What do you guys think? I love it. Guys, I'm so glad you're here. Now, if you look what I'm trying to do. So I told you it's my daughter's birth month and mine. I am trying to make these into small, tiny earrings. Let me get the box for you. I'm gonna have a tutorial on it. You definitely need this is the kind of thing that comes from Amazon, as I was mentioning. You need a serious magnifying glass, but I'm trying this same design in like, I don't even know, it's a 0.3 of an inch, probably a 1/3 of an inch. We'll see. Hopefully she's not seeing this because it's a surprise. There's also necklace blanks you can get, and this would look really pretty on that too. Okay guys, happy painting, keep your mojo flowing. I've got a really beginner one that I'm gonna work on too for a little bit less of all this shading and stuff and a little bit more of loose. So I'm gonna do that too this afternoon, so I'll have that up so you can try both. Have a great day and happy start to spring. I hope the hope and the renewal feeling is spreading to you. Okay, have a great one. Bye guys, thanks for being here.